Shining justice, I like.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, non-binary pals, and the technical rainbow in between, this is Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Chris, a Boingo writer, Gaston, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner.
Oh, you actually got that. I just saw on the thing going live. Hey, everybody. I'm the Vacuuminator. Shining Justice made a great fucking chat there. Time to make Logan Paul a jobber in universe mode, I guess, because fucking Logan Paul's in 2K22, everybody.
Yeah. Is Bad Bunny in the game?
No, but I'd honestly be more approving of that. Also, can we get Snoop Dogg and Shaq in the AEW game now?
Hmm. Hmm.
Just saying. Saying.
Yeah, but they have to add in the next five signees they bring into AEW.
Those poor developers.
We have to have use how many polygons for Keith Lee?
There needs to be 7 million polygons for that man's back.
Back alone. I got a candy bar.
Oh, okay. What kind?
Reese's Tech 5.
Ooh, those are pretty good.
Snoop Dogg and games have a complicated history. You know
Buster,
what?
you should make a video on that, honestly. That sounds interesting.
But we're not talking about possibility of video games and whatnot. We need to
Yeah, because
talk.
that's stupid.
Okay, then we're just talking about video games then.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's not till next week. That's not till next week. You fuckers don't get to take over till next week.
You rub the monkey's paw, bro.
I'll admit I maybe do it a little more than I probably should, but let's not talk about that on the podcast.
Speaking of people who always rub the monkey's paw, choose your narrative.
Is that what it's actually called? Did I miss it? I thought it was control your narrative.
Do we fucking care? Do we respect them enough to get it right?
Honestly, no.
Okay then.
And I wasn't going to talk about these fuckers on this show again. I just find it funny that apparently their first show was a complete and utter disaster. Like it looks like it was in somebody's fucking finished
Pizzeria.
basement. That's better. Yeah, there's a fucking disco ball like so close to the ring that you could reach up and touch it. Apparently Adam Shearer, aka Braun Strowman, fell over the barricade and kicked a kid in the head. Uh, and just generally, it was utter nonsense. And now they're on Instagram claiming that AEW tried to keep them from running a show in New Jersey. Clown shit. Utter clown shit from this company.
No. That's insulting to clowns.
Buster wants us to explain who these clowns are again.
These carny pieces of shit is a wrestling promotion that is trying to be started up by a guy named EC3.
Yeah.
And basically, the best way to put it is think Tyler Durden if he was trying to start a wrestling promotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or someone who watched Fight Club and didn't actually understand the message that toxic masculinity is bullshit.
Yeah, and the people funding this operation are like people in charge of alt-right political PACs that like majorly support a lot of hard right senators and shit.
And a lot of the wrestlers that are there are ones that got canceled or ostracized from the industry due to their political beliefs and anti-vax views.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
I
they're
mean,
the
like,
right wing nut jobs that have been run out of fucking wrestling at this point in time.
and I mean, like, fucking, I'll admit, I have my suspicions about Adam Sure, but I thought he seemed like a nice enough guy who was willing to put his political stuff aside, given his character. But I guess that was all just WWE holding him back because holy fuck.
Yeah.
Dude's marked for life now.
Uh, it is. I feel sorry for anyone who signed up who isn't part of that whole thing and just saw, oh, independent wrestling company, cool.
Hmm.
I don't know how many they are at this point in time.
Also, like, I know I keep focusing on Adam Sure, but he's like one of the only names I know of out of this thing.
Tessa Blanchard,
Uh,
right?
Tessa Blanchard is rumored. She's not confirmed
Okay.
yet. But Adam Sure was on Instagram promoting their next show. I think it was a few days ago. Basically, doing the whole calling out all the other people without calling them out by name thing by saying like, come here if you want to see real wrestling and not those glorified dance moves that everybody else does. And it's like, motherfucker, your thing used to be that you run and can't stop like the goddamn juggernaut. Shut up.
Hey, at least the Juggernaut's a cool character with nuance and depth.
That's true.
I'm so glad we have a new punching bag.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, well, you gotta get some final licks in as you go down.
yep. But that's just that's just what
Funny.
happens, you know.
Just that picture of the fucking ring from the first show.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I have never laughed harder at something in wrestling that I wasn't supposed to laugh at. Like goddamn.
Like we can all agree, like, oh, a bunch of all the right wing idiots going and forming their own companies dumb as fuck. But at least they're failing on every marker,
Mhm.
which is perfect. But on to
Yeah.
some happier news. We got some Fan Fest figure reveals from
Yeah.
AEW.
Seems like it's just every pay-per-view from now on is gonna be where Jazzware shows off a lot of new stuff. Which honestly it's not a bad format at all.
Oh no, why not show the new merchandise to the people who will buy it?
Yeah. So we had gotten like a tease of this at I can't believe it's not Toy Fair
Mm-hmm.
and some of the other countries that still went ahead and did Toy Fair. But here we got the full reveal and suite of the first couple waves of the brand new Supreme collection, which is going to be basically a higher price point for more stuff in the box and a little extra articulation, like fully swappable gear and stuff like that is what we're talking here. Because you got Cody in the Homelander gear, and he has alternate arms, so it's a more realistic look for the jacket, and it's also articulated. It's not just like traffic coning off his arms. You've got a new Brit that's much better than the one we just got in Unmatched. We've got Malachi, who looks absolutely incredible. His first figure is in this Supreme collection, and they just gave him everything they possibly could. There's actually a video of him seeing it for the first time out of this, and he's like, "This takes me back to when I was a kid, and I see something on the shelf without knowing what it was, and just thinking, oh man, that looks cool. I have to have that."
This probably was where the Street Fighter crossover figures got announced.
Yes, I was going to get to that. Buster is asking about those figures in the chat. They announced they're doing a collaboration with the Street Fighter license to release Matt, Nick, and Kenny in their Street Fighter homage gear. And those figures look okay. I'm not a huge Street Fighter fan, so I don't think I'll be getting them. And it's also just like, oh, they went super accurate with the Kenny gear, which is not the choice I'd have made.
I would have gone to the gear that he was supposed to have, which sad that he never got to see the light of day.
But speaking of Kenny, he's also getting a Supreme gear, and he's got free sets of swappable legs, so you can have him in different sets of gear, which is really, really cool. Britt also has that. Um, and I'm trying to think if there was anybody else they revealed. There might have been one or two that I'm forgetting. But we also got the long-awaited reveal just after he leaves the company. Finally, suited Cody is a reality, and doesn't look the best, but hey, finally they've got a suited body so they can make people like Tully Blanchard and whatnot. So that's cool. And we also got a few new people we've been waiting on. Like we finally got to see Eddie Kingston's figure in hand, which looks a little ropey. I like the expression they chose for him. It's a very iconic Eddie expression, but the paint's just a little sloppy, and I hope that's just the way the prototype looks. Um, but we also got to see Thunder Rosa and CM Punk in hand. CM Punk is one of the ones where I'm like, I get it, but I'm not a fan of the choice for the rare versus the regular edition because the regular edition is him in the long tights and the jacket he wore for his first match, and the chase is him in the trunks. And I get it. There's more people who are going to want that first in-ring gear look from him, but I want the trunks. It's CM Punk. I want the trunks.
Here's the thing. At this point in time, I personally like that he has all four major forms of wrestling gear under
Yeah.
his AEW repertoire. Like I like either any of them just feels like CM Punk to me.
Yeah.
Because he has tights, trunks, Muay Thai shorts, and indie shorts.
hmm.
Which
Yeah,
we'll
makes
get to
sense.
that in a minute.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
One last thing, which is the thing that kind of capped all this off. We got the reveal of the next AEW ringside exclusive, which is arguably the coolest thing to ever come out of this toy line.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a 2-pack of Mr. Brody Lee and -1.
If you just coming into this podcast and you don't know, -1 is the son of Brody Lee, and Brody Lee had passed away like year and a half now,
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit of Brody Lee is basically the spirit of AEW.
Yeah, because he was a guy who basically got kicked out of WWE and always got a rough deal there. And he came to AEW, and though it took people a minute to get his gimmick, he was pretty much over like Rover. You know, he was perfectly built up, got this great spot, and not only that, but he used it to elevate lesser known people who were in this group that had been sitting there waiting for him. And he got some really amazing programming and just had a hell of a run right up until his final days. And him passing led to what is, in my opinion, inarguably the greatest wrestling tribute show of all time, which is also where we were introduced to -1 as a wrestling character. He was in the crowd for that show, and he's popped up in many Dark Order segments since he's the unofficial new leader of the group. Just basically because his mom is now working for AEW. She came on a few months after Brody's passing. Um, he signed to a contract, and basically it's like if he wants to, he immediately has a job in AEW as soon as he's 18. And if he has good grades that week, he can always come to Dynamite and hang out.
Yep.
Uh, and he's got a really fun character that just adds this extra layer to the group, which is that he's this tyrannical child that just beats up these grown men. And he also seems like he has a really good understanding of the business from his age and knows how to help out other people. Like the stories of the dynamic, the kind of like helpful younger brother to his big sisters of Anna Jay and Tay Conti backstage is just so wholesome and wonderful. So to see him getting a figure here for the first time alongside his father in a 2-pack, it genuinely brought a tear to my eye. And though I swore off ringside last week, I will definitely be getting this on the secondary market as soon as I can.
Yeah. It's such a. I don't know. It's just very nice. It's very nice to see them do it. Like I'm pretty sure all the proceeds are going to the family.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's also been the deal with any Brody merch since his passing, because they've continued to make it. Any Brody merch since his passing, that money has gone to the family, not AEW.
Brody Lee. There's another Brody now, which
Yeah,
I
not.
love. And that's another thing. Like they continuously invoke Brody Lee, not just as a cheap way of going like, oh, remember your favorite wrestler who died.
Whenever they do it, it always makes sense and it's emotionally resonant and it feels important.
Because when Brody King, a new wrestler who's just joined AEW, came in, the commentators were really put that over as like, you got to have some big ass balls to come in here and call yourself Brody.
Yeah.
Like,
Um, And there's also just the thing of now every episode of Dynamite every AEW broadcast period starts with the head commentator saying it's such and such night, and you know what that means. Because that used to be the caption for every Instagram post Brody Lee made, because his trainer in WWE forced him to get an Instagram when he didn't want to. So he would always just post it and be like, it's Monday, and you know what that means without explaining it, just to fuck with his teacher.
yep. But now it's just the spirit of AEW,
Mm,
which
very nice.
without all that, we would not have AEW as it is today. It would look different.
Yeah, and one final tidbit on figures before we move on. Uh, we're probably getting a Tony Schiavone figure fairly soon, maybe as a ringside exclusive, because on his podcast this week, Schiavone let slip that the figure people face scanned him at Revolution.
Oh, there's a Tony thing I want to mention on Dynamite. So just
Yeah.
I want to remember to try and talk about, but we got to talk about Revolution, and I think let's just go through the card bit by bit. Just go a little bit older because this is the last one. Let's just kind of match by match, so we
Yeah.
cover each one in enough detail.
Do you want to start or should I? We're gonna alternate. What's up?
Let's alternate bullet points, except for like promo segments. We'll just whoever did the last one does the promo segment. That's after it.
Okay.
So you start with Layla, do Don Callis, I'll do KT, you do House of Black.
All right. So like rotate every other.
Yeah.
So on the buy-in, it kicked off with legit Layla Hirsch taking on Chris Statlander. This is basically the end cap for their feud that's been going on, and it ended with Hirsch pretty much definitively turning heel because she went under the ring and grabbed a turnbuckle and hit Statlander in the face with it while the ref wasn't looking, and then pinned her very quickly after a moonsault. Not a great match. I didn't hate it, but it also just wasn't super entertaining. It very much felt like, okay, people haven't been in love with this feud, and people are still filing into the building while we're doing this. So let's not bust our asses over it.
Yeah. I do think, despite all its faults, I do think this feud did do something for Layla Hirsch.
Yeah.
I do think, like, at the end of this, Layla Hirsch came out of it better. Chris Statlander came out of it neutral. So, like, nobody got hurt in this feud.
Yeah, and now we're perfectly poised for Layla to join Team Taz. Please?
Yeah.
Please? Just saying. Just saying it would be utterly awesome.
There's another faction she could join.
There's like 50 fucking factions, so I'm trying to like mathematically sort it out.
What's a faction predicated on violence and technique?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But anyway, after that, Don Callis came out and he teased everybody by playing Kenny's theme and then walking out himself and basically just making fun of the crowd for a few minutes. This is a really cute, really fun little segment.
Yeah.
Not would have been a nice surprise pop in a comedy way, but we got spoiled on Twitter. So
Yeah, but it was still fun in its own way. It's always nice to hear little V.
Yeah, and Don is a perfectly entertaining gentleman. So
Troom,
good little segment.
Troom. Next up on the buy-in still, we have QT Marshall with the factory in his corner versus Hook, his student. This was just a fun little. To me, this is kind of saying we have exited the Hook introduction arc.
Hook has arrived. Hook is here. Hook can do more than just put somebody in the red rum. And here's a little match to prove that. Though it did end in a great homage to an old Taz match. Somebody pointed out on Reddit today.
Yeah, I genuinely believe Hook absolutely adores his dad's wrestling career.
Yeah.
It's always a little bit of a mindfuckery that Hook is Taz's son, cause he probably takes way after his mom.
Yeah, I saw a family photo of them once upon a time, and I need to go back and look at that again
Cause
to
Taz
remember
is a
what his mom
potato.
was like.
Taz is a little potato man.
Taz is a fucking Centaur.
And then Hook is a tall, lanky, lean, svelte ginger man.
He looks like if Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland did a fusion dance.
Mm-hmm. But no, this was a fun little match. Also, it was nice to see Hook play face.
Yeah. It's a nice little test to prove the concept of Hook. That like, yes, people will cheer this man even if he's being vicious as a good guy.
It was a nice kind of like, all right, cool. We know you can do this. We know you can do this. Now we can kind of plop you in a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun. Cute and QT Marshall's great as his role as the low card little rat.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to say about this match.
Like we've established, we like QT, but he's not the best thing ever. Well, I don't have much else to say about him.
QT Marshall is like Paste Pot Pete.
Yes.
He's a fun villain to see around. You enjoy him while he's there, but he ain't doing an event.
Or to put it in terms I prefer, QT Marshall is the Shocker of AEW.
He's Shocker. He's the Trapster. He's Quizmaster. Is that an accurate DC comparison?
I don't think so, because I barely know who Quizmaster is.
Well, the only reason we know who Quizmaster is because of fucking spoiler.
That's true. Trying to think of a good DC comparison.
Weather Wizard?
Weather Wizard. He's I'm trying to think of like a Superman allegory. Parasite. I don't know, because Batman. All of Batman's villains, even the obscure Batman villains, are too fucking famous at this point to go to.
Thank God Spider-Man has just way too many bad guys.
Yeah, like people know who the fucking Condiment King is. It's like, what am I supposed to do here?
And you can't say Calendar Man, because Calendar Man was in one of the most important Batman stories of all time.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Anarchy? But I really like Anarchy. I feel like Anarchy is a super underrated villain.
We established he is a D-list villain that people like to see when he shows up.
Yeah.
On to the next match.
Yeah. Your match.
Yeah. Do you want me to say it even though we've been alternating?
You go, boy.
The House of Black versus the Mad King. Wait, I fucking skipped the line. House of Black versus the Bastard Pac, Pinta Obscuro, and Eric Redbeard with Alex Abrahantes. This was so good. They went out of their way to show like, hey, this should have been on the actual card.
See, I get that point, but I also feel like this was the perfect match to end the buy-in with, because like if anything on this buy-in is going to sell you on buying the pay-per-view if you haven't already, it's this fucking match.
Oh, it was just brilliant. It was good.
Yeah,
House of Black.
Malachi... Good ass trios action. House of Black looks so intimidating. Matthews, I keep wanting to say Murphy. Matthews is already super over as a badass striker, and they made Redbeard look as intimidating as they possibly could. Like, I don't know if he's going to be coming back because I'm not even sure if he's signed, but
I'm okay with him
that
being
he
a once in a blue moon kind of guy in AEW. I don't need him to be on the roster.
true, but he was so good in this match that I'm like, yo, you could immediately launch him into a completely different program, and I'd be cool with it.
Mm-hmm. Also, Penta Obscuro. It's a revival of an old version Penta is used. It's a lot more occult. It's a lot more spoopy. I don't mind it.
Also, I don't mean to correct you on one of your boys, but it's not obscuro, it's oscuro.
Mm. You do realize it's probably the same fucking word, just in different languages.
It's entirely possible. Anyway, anything else to say on this match?
Fucking House of Black look like a bunch of good spoopy boys, and I can't wait to hear their death metal album.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. They just look like a band.
Anyway, the actual show opened up with the influencer, Chris Jericho, versus the Mad King, Eddie Kingston, in a big old grudge match that ended with Jericho tapping out to the stretch plum. However, he did not fulfill his promise and shake Eddie Kingston's hand to show him proper respect. He just slowly and embarrassingly walked to the back, and that sets up the Dynamite segment that we'll get to a little later.
This match is so... I wouldn't say tainted. It's so... My memory of this match now is so heavily influenced by the Dynamite afterwards. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, the context is completely different now.
Like, in the moment, it was a pretty solid match. It didn't enthrall me. It was just like, okay, this is an opener. This is fine.
Yeah.
But
Eddie
like, I also wasn't super invested in this story. I like Eddie. I usually like Jericho, but this story just hadn't grabbed me. So I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
But now we'll get to it. But now, there's some spice here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved the match. I thought it was good. Also, stretch palm is a move that one of the Four Pillars did at All Japan. Because remember, Eddie Kingston's an All Japan fanboy.
Eddie Kingston loves obscure Japanese stuff, and good for him. Somebody has to.
I mean, did you see the shirt he wore in Dynamite this week?
No, I don't pay that much attention to wrestlers' shirts.
It's literally, it's a Four Pillars shirt.
Okay.
Because that's the big thing of, like, All Japan Wrestling was the Four Pillars in Kings Road style. But next up we have the Young Bucks with Brandon Cutler versus Red Dragon versus Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Team Champions. Jungle Boy pins Matt Jackson with a Jurassic Express to retain. This was a fun story match.
Yeah, it wasn't super entertaining. There were a few really good sequences, but mostly it's just about like, you know, it's that WWE ass cliche of how will they coexist, and the answer is they fucking won't.
But they aren't like trying to go like, oh, are they gonna try? No, it's just very much of it. These are two teams who are trying to get along, but they're at each other's throats and they don't like each other.
And meanwhile, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are just trying to survive.
Yeah, because it's not just like, oh, they can take advantage. It's like, no, they're still four of the toughest sons of bitches in the company.
Yeah. I don't know. I like this match. It just wasn't one of the best on the card, which is kind of crazy to say considering the caliber of talent that's in it.
No, but it was trying to tell a different story.
Yeah. But after that, we had probably my second favorite match of the night, which is Christian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs, Absolute Ricky Starks, Mr. Mayhem Wardlow, Limitless Keith Lee, and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy in the Face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT Championship, which ultimately ended with Wardlow grabbing the brass ring to go on to face Sammy or Scorpio 2 weeks from then. This match was, dare I say it, a fucking perfect ladder match.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Also, they didn't overuse the ladders. The ladders were used perfectly as they should have
There's
been.
a there's like 3 ladders in this match with like fucking 5 guys, and they're all used super economically. All the spots are really interesting and make sense, and everybody gets at least 2 cool things to do.
Oh, exactly. And they balance this match perfectly because it's 3 hosses and 3 tiny men who they can toss around in big fun spots.
Yeah, unlike those moments when it's just a hoss and another hoss in the ring, and it's like motherfucker, motherfucker. Oh,
As
that's good
I
stuff.
am going to assert my dominance.
Yeah, was it Keith and Wardlow at the top of the ladder at
Oh,
that
that
one
was
point
Wardlow and
where
Powerhouse.
oh yeah, and they're both reaching for the ring, and then they just look at each other and they're like, "Yeah, all right, we know where this is going," and they go down 2 rungs and just start punching each other.
Yeah, perfect.
Mhm.
Keith Lee
Uh,
had some beautiful spots.
yeah,
Uh,
Orange Cassidy falling all over the ladder while 2 hosses are trying to grab it.
no, the best spot was like 2 hosses like tugging of warring with a ladder, and then Orange Cassidy just grabs it, skins the cat, gets on top, and starts reaching for the ring.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to set up a ladder, so I'll just climb you.
Like perfect follow up to his spot at I think it was the first Face of the Revolution ladder match. Or no, it was God damn it, what was it? It was Wardlow, no, not Wardlow's debut. It was some Haas's debut. Brian Cage's
Brian Cage,
debut
yeah.
at that first pandemic Double or Nothing in that ladder match. I forget what it was for, but it was the one with the big poker chip
Yeah.
where Orange just comes out, he gets in the middle of the ring and just starts going, eh, eh. That spot is stuck in my mind. It was so brilliant, and this was an excellent evolution of that.
Orange Cassidy is the epitome of the Deadpool line, maximum effort.
Yeah. Uh, this is a great ass match, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Wardlow was my pick from the moment he was announced for the match, and seeing him win just made me so happy.
Wardlow got some beautiful things to do. Keith Lee got some beautiful things to do. Powerhouse Hobbs got some beautiful things to do. Cassidy had some great spots. Ricky Starks had some good spots. The only person I don't think had like super amazing spots was Christian Cage, but he was acting as a ring general. He was making sure everybody was gonna get out of there fine.
Yeah, because he's one of the guys who like invented the modern idea of a ladder match. He's just there, like he's the fucking guardrails to make sure the match doesn't fall into the gutter.
Yeah. Though it did fall into the gutter a little bit because Orange Cassidy did apparently get injured.
Yeah.
Though it won't take surgery, it just needs some time to heal.
Mhm. So feel better, King. I'm wearing
Yep.
your merch tonight.
Yep. Um, I'll take the next 2 things because we have an announcement of a debut.
But
Of
the butt?
a debut.
Mhm.
Uh, Swerve Strickland is all elite.
I have very little experience with Swerve Strickland, so like it's hard for me to get excited about this, but I also have no reason to dislike him, and he's clearly over. So like,
Good
sure, let's
promo.
see where this goes.
He's been good promo so far.
Mhm. I know he was the leader of Hit Row, but that's like all I know about him because I completely missed Hit Row.
Yeah. Apparently, I know he's good. I've seen him wrestle once or twice. So
Okay,
he's good. He's good.
yeah, and we'll get to see him in action tomorrow night. So,
Yep. And then we have for the TBS title Tay Conte with Anna Jay in her corner and -1 as well versus Jade Cargill with Smart Mark Sterling. Cargill wins after a Jaded to retain. This match got off to a very weird start.
it did, but I also think this was like one of the best women's matches AEW has had in a while. And I
Yep.
think it was a great coming out party for both these women.
I After this match, I definitely feel like Tay Conte's kind of trying to be positioned not necessarily as the women's face character, I think that's Thunder Rosa still at this point. Thunder and Ruby are kind of like the big baby faces of the women's division.
Yeah.
But she's the Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin.
I mean, to put it in comic book terms, because we can never not do that in this show.
When we're
Thunder
talking
and
about
Ruby,
comic books, we only talk about wrestling. When we talk about wrestling, we can only talk about comic books.
Yeah, yeah. Thunder and Ruby are like the Wonder Woman and Zatanna. And Anna Jay and Tay Conti are like the Supergirl and Miss Martian, I'd say.
Yeah. But no, this was a fun match. The kiss.
I thought it was fine because clearly both performers agreed to it beforehand,
know,
and it was good mind game shit.
Yeah, but it just now it makes more sense after Dynamite. We'll get to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. But like at the time, I was going like, where did this character trait come from?
Yeah. I just immediately went, oh, like it was great mind games for in kayfabe. It's great mind games for Tay Conti. As a shoot, it's great mind games for us because I'm sure everybody went, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, but it was a good match. It was a good match.
Mm-hmm. Also, Jade Cargill dressed as Jade from Mortal Kombat, so yeah, the good branding there.
Yeah. But I think it's time to get to the next match.
Yeah, I have the next one. I forgot for a second.
That's fine.
All right, so next is match of the night. You don't get to dispute that. It's just it's a literal objective fact. Next is match of the night. Better than the best in the world. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF versus the Second City Saint, CM Punk, in a dog collar match. The match ends with Punk pinning after a shot with the Dynamite Diamond as provided by Wardlow.
This match was really damn good. We will probably have an argument once we get to Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley.
This match is the dictionary definition of a perfect match in my mind. It was brutal. It used its gimmick to utter exhaustive perfection. It had all the heat in the world going into it, and it used that heat to tell excellent character work and story. And it had a long-awaited, well-done babyface turn that led to, honestly, one of the most beautiful finishes to a wrestling match I've ever seen.
And I'm not saying it isn't the best match of the night. But here's the thing. Is it the best match or was it the best story?
I mean, if you want to argue semantically like that, you might be right. But, like, we have said so many times throughout the course of the show, I'm here for story. I care more about a good story than I do two dudes beating each other up in a cool way.
I mean, isn't this what the story was, though? This match is two dudes beating up each other in a cool way.
Fair enough, but, like, there was just so much more.
I just like poking holes in your arguments, dude. That's all I do.
I know. That's the beauty of our friendship. But
no, this was a damn good match. It was very much. The best way I can describe it is it's CM Punk reaping the seeds that he's sown throughout all of his career, all of his rhetoric, all of his mindset, all of the things he's done in Ring of Honor and WWE, basically coming back to roost.
Yeah.
This is ultimately the universe saying, like, oh, you want to be the little asshole. You want to be the one poking all the bears in all these different places. Guess what? All of that influence and made this little fucker. Now deal with him. You good, dude?
Definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to retweet the show link, so I'm just doing that right.
Yeah, fair. And I think it epitomized that with CM Punk's entrance.
Yeah, bringing back the old ROH theme and look.
Goddamn. And the fact that everybody in the audience immediately knew the words to the AFI song.
Yeah.
And it was just like immediate. and everybody and CM Punk's like elation at finding like going like, wow, they know my history. It was super nice. It was wonderful.
Mhm. And apparently that wasn't like an exact recreation of his gear. They updated it in a few fun ways. Like, used to be a skull and crossbone on the breast of the jacket. They changed it to a silhouette of Larry.
That's always nice. It's good. It's wholesome. Um, I don't think MJF did anything special for his gear, but he did do a little fake out with Cult of Personality.
Yeah, which is nice. I always dig it when he does that at a pay-per-view. Um, and like, I don't think he needed to do anything special because he already did the special thing of letting Wardlow's turn finally happen.
Yep.
Because you know he's probably been planning that as meticulously as everyone else involved.
Oh yeah. Cause it is an utter comeuppance. It is all the asshole stuff he's been saying to other people, which has always been a reference to CM Punk. The way he talks, the way he treats other people is like, I'm better than you because of this, this, and this. Fuck you, which is always that CM Punk. I am like he's repeated the line. I'm straight edge. That means I'm better than you.
Yeah.
That's what CM Punk quoted his old line, and that's basically what MJF. I'm just better than you, kind of thing.
Yeah. And like it was perfectly played by Wardlow too, because for a second there, like I thought it was literally just going to be that he forgot the ring. The way he played it was just the perfect like, oh shit, I don't have it. But then him finding it and putting it in the ring for Punk was just like this beautiful, oh, awesome things are about to happen, and they do because the final sequence of Punk putting on the ring, grabbing Max spitting in his face, and then Punk just punching him out and pinning him.
Mm.
Mwah,
Also,
mwah,
the go to sleep
mwah.
to the bat bunk on the thumbtacks.
Yeah, so damn good.
It is just fucking perfect, phenomenal, good match.
Mhm.
But then we had Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Rebel Not Reba and Jamie Hayter for the AEW Women's World Champion with a new belt design. We'll get to that in a second. Baker pins and retains after a curb stomp. First things first, over under on the belt.
Way over. I love this new design. It's clearly happening for political reason because the original women's championship was designed by Brandy, and the redesign was very similar to it. And so Brandy's gone. Don't want to associate the women's division too closely with her because she was blamed for some bad booking decisions with it early on. You changed the belt.
Yeah.
I'm maybe not the biggest fan of doing things that way, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And moreover than that, I just think this is an awesome looking belt design. Like it literally just looks like taking the template of the men's championship and applying it to the women's championship and making a belt that arguably looks better now.
It looks good. I like how it's a big bombastic belt, but it still looks feminine, but not in the ooh girly. It's thin. It's delicate. It's delicate's the wrong word. It's precise in its details. It's neat.
Mm-hmm.
It's clean. It's clear.
Yeah, I really like it. I didn't really like this match though, because it's not bad, and like it has that +1 of like I'm just generally into Thunder and Britt as rivals, but I thought it was a little sloppy, and I thought it had way too much outside interference. Now, obviously, they did that to set up what happens next.
Yeah.
But as a pay-per-view match, I felt like this wasn't as good as the other women's pay-per-view match, and ain't that a shame?
Yeah, but considering what these two can put out with a fun stipulation and having what the second ever cage match in AEW,
Yeah,
the third, Bucks and
yeah,
Lucha Bros.
because there's I can't believe it's not War Games.
There's also that, but I wouldn't consider that a cage match. There's too many other stipulations in that.
True.
I mean, like straight cage match, we've had Wardlow, Cody, and then we had Lucha Bros, Young Bucks.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, we're gonna get a. It was a fine. It was a fine. It was a Dynamite main event.
I wouldn't even put it that far.
It was a Rampage main event.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. I thought this match was pretty good, but for me, it's mainly about what happens afterwards.
I thought this match really showcased why Bryan Danielson wanted to do why he pitched this idea. Because technique can only get you so far. You need brutal violence, but brutal violence can only get you so far. You need technique, and he saw that they could complement each other and really up their own game as professional wrestlers, which the Regal promo cemented.
Oh my god, I just realized. This whole storyline of them getting together is literally just the old Bruce Lee speech of be like water.
But like that's what this whole match was like these two pure ideologies of what professional wrestling should be butting heads and trying to make a synthesis. But Jon Moxley wins.
Yeah, pins with a big old roll up, and they start brawling. They're still upset. They're still big and angry, and security comes out to break them up. Security can't do it, and then finally, hey everybody, Daddy's home. William Regal debuts for AEW and comes out, and he slaps the shit out of both of them and makes them shake hands.
Basically, like fucking calm the fuck down, you two sons of bitches.
Yeah. Funny story about this. Apparently, the morning of the show, William Regal texted Tony Schiavone and said, "Have a great show. Wish I could be there." And Tony Schiavone said, "Ah, thanks, man." Didn't see him the whole night until this segment, and immediately after it, as they were going up the ramp, Schiavone ran up, hugged him, and whispered in his ear, "You kayfabing son of a bitch."
Oh god, we need to talk about Tony Schiavone and William Regal when we get to the Dynamite part of it, but like goddamn.
Yeah.
No, this makes me excited for the future. Like, oh my god, what can be, what could be, and we'll talk about that at Dynamite.
And like genuinely, this was a surprise for me because fucking after he got released from NXT, I just thought like, okay, I guess Regal's gonna retire because like he's old enough, he's probably got plenty of WWE cash that he could do it if he wanted to. But no, man loves the business, so here he is in AEW, and you know what? Good for him.
Yeah. William Regal could have been happy in retirement with all his lizards. Because he has a bunch of pet lizards.
I forgot about that until just now. Yeah.
Yeah. But next up we have Andrade, Hardy, Family Office, Matt Andrade, and Isaiah with Jose versus the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and the Icon Sting in a Tornado Trios match. Allin eventually pins Hardy after a coffin drop. This was a fun palate cleanser just to finish up all the seriousness we've been through with MJF, CM Punk, Rosa, Britt Baker, and Danielson and Moxley. I just go like, all right, cool. Here's a big fun wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. Like honestly, this match, the fucking preview for this match is Darby doing his independent filmmaker thing, and that video starts with a car crash, and that car crash set the tone for the whole rest of the fucking match.
Okay, we need to talk about the spot. The spot where a 60-year-old man jumps off a two-story balcony.
62-year-old man jumps off a two-story balcony with a dude twice his size, and they go through 3 sets of tables stacked on top of each other.
Sting. Sting, you are making William Regal's entire argument very hard to believe.
Oh my God. God bless Sting. What a brilliant, fucking amazing bastard of a man.
Goddamn.
Did you read his Players Tribune article?
No, I started to, but like I got to like I read the first paragraph and I was already heartbroken.
I read the whole thing in one sitting and I was fucking in tears by the end of it. God bless that man.
Thank God we are in the positive masculinity era of professional wrestling.
I said on Twitter, who'd have ever guessed Eddie Kingston would be such a trendsetter? But thank God he set such a wholesome trend.
Of just like male wrestlers being open and upfront with their emotional and mental stress and mental illness, addiction, just all of that kind of struggle. So happy.
Good shit. We love Sting. Here's hoping he continues to survive spots like this for another couple years and gets to end his career on his own terms properly.
Also, Sammy Guevara doing a Spanish fly off the Revolution set to Isaiah Cassidy. Goddamn.
Good shit.
They knew the assignment of like, all right, you guys are just gonna go out there and do a bunch of fun, goofy spots.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But for the no wait, you do the main event.
All right, so your main event for Revolution this year is Adam Cole, baby, versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship, which, of course, ends with Page pinning to retain after a buckshot lariat. This was a match.
This was a match.
It was certainly a match.
Oh, did you not like it?
I didn't love it. It was fine. It was serviceable. But it just didn't grab me at all.
Because this just reminded me of all of his NXT matches.
Possible. I can see that, yeah. I mean, like, the one thing I really have to say about this match is just the contrast in gear. Because, like, I really like Hangman's pants. Jacket's maybe a bit much. Maybe could have integrated it a little better. But I like the message he's trying to send. And then Adam Cole just looks like the biggest fucking dork in the world wearing his fucking Master Halo or whatever the fuck it's called outfit.
Yeah. But that's their characters. It's one self-absorbed asshole and a guy who's trying to make a change in the world.
Fair enough.
I thought the match was fun. It told the story it needed to tell.
Mm-hmm. It's just weird to have a championship match like this and such a stacked pay-per-view. Like, people were saying going into this pay-per-view that, like, the championship match has maybe the least bit of hype behind it. And I was expecting them to pull something out. And maybe that's just on me for having too high expectations with AEW these days, but, like, the match ended, and that was it. It is literally just here is a standard championship match that ends the way you want it to, and then we just fade to black.
I think,
and I'm like, that feels very un AEW to me.
I had to put it this way, but I think the problem is Adam Cole can do a great match. Hangman Adam Page can do a great match. But to do an amazing match, they also have to have an amazing partner.
True.
Like, they are great. They are wonderful. They are amazing. They do amazing work by themselves. Any partner. But if they have just the right person to wrestle against, elevated.
Yeah.
You know? Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. GOAT. Adam Page, Kenny Omega. Adam Page, Jericho. Adam Page by himself, any match, great. Like, we'll talk about it in Dynamite. Adam Page versus anybody is a great match.
Also, just to give him one more accolade, since we're going so heavy on Page, Adam Cole, Keith Lee. Good shit.
But that's kind of the point. It's like, they themselves can do a great match. But to get amazing, they have to have just the right partner.
it's like they're too close to each other. They're too similar wrestlers to really play off each other all that well.
So inevitably, all we get is a great match. It's a great match. It's perfect, textbook, wonderful, amazing, but it didn't have any.
Sass.
It didn't play any wrong notes. Is the best way to put it. Like it played all the notes right and perfect. It didn't play anything wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that was Revolution, everybody. And it's pretty good.
Yeah. So let's just dive into Dynamite then.
Sorry.
Go.
AEW Dynamite Free 9/2022.
So first things first, we have Chris Jericho coming out and going like, you know what? I was a little bitch. I don't want to be a bitch. Hey, Eddie Kingston, can you come out here? I wanna actually shake your hand and make up for what I did. Eddie Kingston comes out and goes like, you know what? You know why I wanted to wrestle you? Because I wanted to see the old Chris Jericho. Not this guy who's been flouncing around here. I wanted to see the Jericho that showed up in Japan. And like all that kind of stuff, and the crowd started chanting Lionheart, and Eddie goes well like, yeah, Eddie Lionheart. I wanted to see Lionheart.
Eddie also talks about how his motivation has changed. How like fucking apparently 3 different people at the Fan Fest came up to him and said his Players Tribune article made them change their minds about offing themselves.
And like,
and it's like he is wrestling for those people now, not just himself.
And that's a wonderful love. Like that's perfect for Eddie Kingston. He is. We have 2 of the best examples of dealing with mental illness in AEW with Adam Page and Eddie Kingston. One is dealing with mental illness like through struggle and working through it, and then we have Eddie Kingston who is working through mental illness out of spite.
Yeah.
Fuck you, depression. You don't get to rule my life.
Adam Page is. There has to be something better. I refuse to believe that it's just this. Eddie Kingston is fuck out of here. I'm not gonna be some bitch and fall for this shit.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But Jericho then offers the handshake. Something that's been that got pointed out in the podcast somewhere. Ever since Ring of Honor got bought, a lot more handshakes in AEW. I wonder if handshakes are just a great sign of respect.
Yeah. Also, a little bit of follow up, bit off topic, but on the post media scrum for Revolution, Tony confirmed he's keeping Ring of Honor as a separate brand. He planned like he didn't out and out say it's going to be their NXT, but the way he worded it is it's going to be like a separate but interactive roster of people who he wants for AEW, but doesn't have all the time to spend on them in AEW.
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Was there any mention of who's gonna book that? Because I don't think Tony can.
He's booking it.
Sir,
this man doesn't sleep. I swear to God.
Jesus Christ.
Like I used to be a subscriber to the theory that Vince McMahon was one of the sleepless elite, and now I'm starting to think, okay, that's just what it takes to run a wrestling company. You have to be one of the sleepless elites.
But Jericho shakes Eddie Kingston's hand. It's a sweet moment of like respect earned, respect given, all that kind of stuff. And then 2.0 come out, and they go like, "Oh, we're gonna be 2.0. We're gonna start beating y'all up."
And Jericho immediately grabs his neck and falls over. And in the moment, I'm like, dude, nobody hit you. Did you forget how to sell for a second?
Oh, but then Proud and Powerful come out with the baseball bat, and they start helping out and give the baseball bat to Jericho, and they hold up one of the members of the 2.0 and Garcia, and then Jericho decks Santana.
Mm-hmm. And takes his bat.
And then hits Ortiz. And then hits Eddie Kingston. And then you're going like, oh no.
And then Hager runs out and initially is like, the fuck are you doing, man? And then Jericho sets him up and he's like, fuck it, I've got no career here without you. And just fucking decks Santana out of the ring. And Jericho gets on the mic and says, I got a new group. It's called the Jericho Appreciation Society. We're just doing Inner Circle again, everybody. Suck it.
Yeah, but this time the subtext of me grabbing a bunch of young guys just to prop me up is actually the text now.
Yeah. And I mean, like, all right, you can do some interesting stuff with this, but, like, it was more exciting the first time around.
Yeah, but now we have some cool guys to go up against them in a direct manner with Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful.
True, true, true.
You know, there's a direct hero in this situation, not just, oh, there are a bunch of bad guys running roughshod. Now it's a downfall arc, not necessarily a kingpin arc.
True. True, 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 true.
But then CM Punk comes to a little backstage promo. That's it.
Yeah.
Just a little fun
It's a
promo.
nice video packagey thing to keep him in your mind.
Um,
Then we got a match that the announcement on Twitter kind of surprised me, but I was also like, you know what, that sounds fun.
yeah.
Dante Martin versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. Basically, Dante Martin had made it to the top of the rankings and nobody noticed. So Tony Khan was like, yeah, fuck it. 60 minutes on Dynamite. Go for it, boys. And Page ended up winning after a buckshot lariat to retain. But after the match, he gave Dante a whole bunch of accolades and basically said, like, hey, you're so good, I know one day you're going to make it back here. I look forward to that. And then Adam Cole was like, oh, yeah, well, you're stupid. The Young Bucks like me more than you, and I'm going to prove it. We're going to have a trios match, you fucker.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Oh,
yeah. And then we have Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley going up against the Workhorseman, JD Drake, and the guy with William Regal and John and Bryan's corner. After the match, Tony Schiavone comes up and talks to William Regal and goes like, hey, what's the story here? And Regal cut a clinic of a promo.
Yeah. It had me going from being like, all right, to being like almost in tears, to being like, fuck yeah, okay, let's go. It's perfect. It may have been worded very differently from those promos, and it may have been paced a little slower, but like this reminded me of some of my favorite Cody promos, to be honest.
I mean, where did Cody get it from? Because Cody does not cut promos like his dad.
Mm-hmm. Like, fucking Regal, like, there's a point in this promo where Regal is just going on and on about, like, how he's in the final years of his career. And, like, he hit those notes so hard and so perfectly that, like, people on Twitter were genuinely like, is William Regal sick and nobody told us? What? Does this man have cancer or something?
No, but, like, it was beautiful. It was well done. Also, William Regal bisexual confirmed? Because there was some sexual tension between him and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
That all these years and you haven't found a tailor yet line just reeked of, like, old lovers meeting again.
That was some Charles and Eric shit right there.
Like, genuinely, I just went like, Mr. Regal, sir, is there a purple light in your closet somewhere?
Mm-hmm. It's like he's married to a woman, but like that doesn't rule it out.
Oh, Tony, and nothing says Tony and him didn't have a kayfabe. I'm not saying they did in real life, but
I mean,
looked at the way Tony looked at Regal.
I mean, we just gotta open up archive of our own really quick here.
No,
But
but
no,
look,
this is great. I
the
love his speech about Danielson, how he's like, this man is me without any of the mistakes. He's a fucking perfect wrestler. And Mox, you exist. You can beat people up. Good for you.
no, Mox, you annoyed the fuck out of me. That's what it is. You are my son, and you are the pit bull my son brought home.
Yeah. It's like because I'm finally trying to finish Gravity Falls right now. It's like it's the dad looking at Stanley and Stanford. That's what this promo is. Because I just watched A Tale of Two Stans today.
But
Oh man.
like, it's not necessarily like negative to Moxley. It's just more of like he is the teacher of Brian.
Hmm.
Like he taught Brian wrestling, so he has that deeper connection. You want to talk about it with John? He was a mentor, not a teacher. So like
Yeah.
he was at each they were at each other's throats, and he's like, "You are capable of great violence. You are needed to teach the next generation."
Yeah. You got the one guy who can crash, and you got the guy who can flow.
Fuck.
And wrestlers going forward, they need to be like water. They have to be able to crash and flow at the right times.
Okay, to continue your Charles and Eric comparison,
Hmm.
they're Wolverine and Cyclops.
Bruh, that's brilliant.
Because here's the thing, Charles Xavier will trust Cyclops with everything, but if he needs violence, he goes to Wolverine.
Oh God, that makes Brie Bella Jean Grey.
I mean, for the
Ew.
most part, most people think she's as interesting. I say this as a Jean Grey fan. A lot of people think she's boring as fuck.
Mhm. Well, anyway, Alex Marvez talked to the Dark Order and Hangman backstage, setting up some possible dissent between these two
It's
people.
awkward. It's an awkward tension that can lead to something interesting.
And because it basically confirms that Hangman's partners for the trios match are going to be Jurassic Express, and Dark Order thought it was going to be some combination of them, and they all had to immediately and awkwardly go like, "Oh, we got other things going on. It's fine. It's fine."
All the while, Alex is just looking off in the background, like, "Yep, nope, don't like where this is going,"
Hmm.
which is, it's all sad.
And Anna's just like, "I'm gonna have a talk with Jack tonight."
uh, but next up, we have Wheeler Yuta with the best friends of Chaos in his corner versus the Bastard Pac with Penta Escuero and Alex Abrahantes in his corner. Yuta taps out to the Brutalizer. This just feels like a, hey, remember these kind of people exist kind of match.
Hmm. I also like how they booked it. Like they announced it as a fill-in match because the championship match didn't go the full 60 minutes. Alvarez and oh, what's the other one's name? Semper Bibi were complaining about this, saying like it felt like too much of an old school throwback. I didn't even know this was an old school thing. I just saw this and I went like, "Oh, that's a cool way to set up a match. Like that doesn't necessarily make sense right off the bat. It's Tony Khan scrambling because like, oh, we have to fill airtime."
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It's a fine thing.
Mhm. But after that, we got a backstage promo of the Elite where Adam Cole attempts to announce that the Young Bucks are his partners, but they immediately cut him off and go, yeah, we're not fighting Hangman. We're trying to be on good terms with him right now. Fuck off." And he's like, "Oh, what? I, I wasn't gonna pick you guys. I totally, I'm better off without that bitch. Don't worry. I don't need a Kyle, Bobby. You guys want the Hangman?" Yeah, sure.
Oh man, all of this is just fucking juicy drama, and you love to hate it.
Hmm.
You
And
hate to
and
love
just
it.
yeah, and the fucking they always know the perfect thing to do with Brandon Cutler, because ending it with him like the total geek that his character is supposed to be, just going, I team with you guys, and they're like, Brandon, shut the fuck up. Nobody asked.
Uh, but then we have Alex Marvez talking to FTR backstage in a very surprising move.
Yeah. Because I guess we're just fucking done with the Pinnacle. We're just tearing that group apart.
I would love to see MJF come back and have like just have fuck what's it
Bro, the community meme of walking in on the disaster and the guy with the pizzas is MJF, and then like you have in the corner Wardlow winning the TNT Championship, FTR firing Tully Blanchard, Sean Spears being caught committing sexual acts with a steel chair.
no Sean's no here's what I see. MJF comes back and Sean Spears goes like, "Hey, we need to get the Pinnacle back together. We need to get this whole thing back on track." And MJF just looks at him and goes like, "The Pinnacle? Y'all were just the lackeys to get me gold, and you never did your job right. Fuck off."
That could work.
You know?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
That being said, with FDR firing Tully, because that's all this segment is. It's them being like, oh, you're not family, and we care about our families, so you're fired. Uh, and I am a bit concerned about what's going to happen to Sean, because
Your mic cut out.
it's because my voice got really high. I was trying to do a thing. I like Sean Spears a whole heck of a lot, and I feel like he has gotten a pretty rough ride in AEW. He's had some really cool moments, but he's never quite gotten to where he needs to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. Not everybody can be the main event though.
It's true. It's true.
Um but then we have the Andrade Hardy Family Office emergency boardroom meeting.
So this is one time where I will actually agree with Alvarez a whole heck of a lot in him complaining about something, which is that the way this segment starts, it feels like we're missing a chunk of story because it just immediately starts with Matt going, "So I hear you want to fire me," and I'm like, "When the fuck did this happen? What? What? You
It's a
guys seemed like you were fine at the end of that Revolution match. Like, yeah, you were beat to shit, but you didn't seem like you were blaming each other for losing."
yeah, but we got Jeff now. We need to tell the story, but it's fine. It works.
But like Jeff's 90 compete clause just ran out that day. They could have waited another week.
No, but the pop.
I know, I know. Because it breaks down. Matt gets voted out. Isaiah and Mark betray him. He's getting beat up. Darby and Sting try to save him, but they're still outnumbered. Which, by the fucking way, where was Bunny? And why didn't Butcher and Blade get a vote? That really bothered me.
Because they're hired guns.
And but Sting and Darby try their best. They can't quite save the day. So here's music that I thought was WWE created and copyright. Turns out it's fucking public domain. The Hardy Boys theme plays, and Jeff does his fucking stupid dance, and then comes down and saves his brother.
He doesn't do the stupid dance in place. He's running and doing the stupid dance.
Fair enough, but it's still a very stupid dance.
Hey, that stupid dance got him over.
Sure did. Cool. I'm glad Jeff is here and the Hardys are reunited. I would honestly, though, I feel like there's plenty more people who should be ahead of them in line. Considering this is probably the last run of both their careers, I would like to see them win the tag championships out of this. Obviously, we're already setting up them and Darby because fucking going all the way back to when Matt debuted in AEW and he went on Talk as Jericho, Jericho pitched Darby Allin to Matt as he is the second coming of Jeff Hardy. So, like, this has been an idea in Matt and Jericho's heads for a long time. And he's probably one of Darby's wrestling heroes because, like, they had a little stare down.
That wasn't a
And
stare down. That was Darby Allin going like, "I am in the same ring as Jeff fucking Hardy."
yeah. Uh,
That wasn't the look of like I am angry at. That's the look of, oh, oh my god.
Hi, Mr. Hardy. But no, clearly that match is coming and it's going to be cool. I would like to see them win the tag titles, but I don't know if now is the right time.
Um, I think we could do with a little bit of a storyline, essentially breaking them again. Because here's the thing: if they're going to go through, here's my pitch for what to do. This is their last run. Let's go through the entirety of the Hardy saga and kind of give it like a nice little bow at the end of it. So a little Hardy Boys, a little Broken, big money.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I was thinking like just kind of do the Hardy Boys thing for a little while and have it like work sometimes, but not really get them anywhere and have them get frustrated with that and decide that they need to fucking dip in some lake water.
I can see them breaking. I can see them modifying the break and combining it with Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Like there's ways you can do this. I am excited to see what happens with them because the joy they had on each other's faces is just like that's infectious. Of just like
Also, Matt pointed out on Twitter today, he wore the same outfit for this segment that he wore the last time they were on TV together. This is really cool detail.
yeah. Talk about the next bit.
Swerve Strickland talked to Tony Schiavone backstage, basically to set up a match on Rampage for tomorrow night. Tim versus Tony Nese. It's his first match in AEW. Guess how that's gonna go, but it should be okay.
I do like the little hanging of the hat though, because when he got interrupted, he was like, "I was wondering who was going to interrupt me first on AEW because it's such a common trope."
Yeah.
And the fact that it's you, fair enough. Let's revive our rivalry from WWE.
Yeah.
Because I think honestly, that's what a lot of like. That's the first thing a lot of people do when they get to AEW. It's like, hey, I had a feud with that guy and never ended. Can we finish that feud real quick? Yeah, let's finish that feud real quick.
Mm-hmm. But then we got probably my favorite segment of the night.
Ultimate test of like, okay, we've been building up Wardlow. Can Wardlow be an actual legitimate babyface?
Is he gonna work on his own, or is he gonna be this generation's Virgil? And the answer is fuck you, this man can talk.
This man is eloquent as fuck.
Yeah. And like I already kinda knew that because I'd listened to I think it was oh god, what's his fucking name? The guy on YouTube who does all the goddamn wrestling interviews.
Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, I'd listened to Van Vliet interview him last week. And that interview was pretty cool. Opened my eyes to like Wardlow is like just your average Joe kind of a guy, but he's a really nice, really down to earth average Joe kind of a guy. And this promo is essentially doing that with a little extra sprinkling of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, like it is pretty much. Yeah, no, I grew up poor. I took a shitty job from a shitty person because it paid a lot and I could take care of my family. But he abused me too much for me to put up with it. I have saved enough money. I can fucking risk this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, valid.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And he's also fairly polite about the whole thing. Like he is kind of like fuck you MJF, but he's also more like Max. You and I both know this is fucking over, so just release me. and let me ask Tony Khan for a contract. If you're as much of a good guy as you say you are, you'll do it. And we know MJF's going to pull some chicanery. And again, I'm with Alvarez here. MJF should say, "All right, I'll release you, but you have a 90-day no compete clause."
Yeah, I mean, AEW would pull a storyline like that, and we'll love it. We'll lap it up. We'll go like, "Yeah, fuck WWE," but like,
Yeah, just have him, and like you can still have him have that TNT Championship match down the road, but just delay it for 3 months. And for those 3 months, every week on Dynamite, Wardlow finds a new and creative way to powerbomb MJF. Because fuck you, you already fired me. What else are you gonna do?
I would love to see that happen. And just by the end of the 9 months, not 9 months, the 90 days, MJF is just in a wheelchair because his back has been fucked up too much. And then it's the end of the 90 days, and Wardlow's about to go for the TNT title match. And he walks past MJF and he goes like, "Please, no, I can't take it anymore."
That'd be so good.
I wasn't going to do anything to you, dude. I was just go having a match. Oh, thank God. One more for good measure. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. But I'd also be down for just Wardlow winning next week. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
Yep, but then Marvez talks to Keith Lee, and QT Marshall basically goes like, "Hey, man, I want to have your back." And Keith Lee basically goes like, "I've got too much back."
Yeah. Fuck off. I've watched this show. I know who you are. I'm not some fresh-faced idiot. Go take your carny bullshit somewhere else. And yeah, that's cute. That's cute. I'm gonna enjoy QT getting beat up by Keith for a couple matches.
God damn. Keith Lee just like, even though this is like a lower storyline, it's not gonna be like a big card thing. This is a fun storyline.
Mm-hmm. But after that, we got another championship match. Jurassic Express with Christian Cage versus the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Basically, same reasoning as the World Championship match we got this week. And it ended with Jungle Boy pinning Bowens after Jurassic Express to retain. I thought this match was okay. Not really anything to write home about. The only thing that popped me was only like kind of tangentially related to this, which is that in their opening rap, which this is one of the weaker opening raps they've done.
The last line was the weakest.
Yeah. The Acclaimed say like, "Oh, Jungle Boy's never seen a pair of boobs." Anna Jay immediately just tweeted the word false.
Oh, God. Oh. I mean, accurate.
Yeah. I mean, and it was also like, it's one of those moments where I look at my phone and I go, oh, like, I didn't doubt that you two were sexually active, but okay.
Buddy boy. It was a fine match. It was a fine match.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't detract from anything. They come out of it looking good, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Jade Cargill has a video package where she explains the kiss, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm down with the kiss now.
It's supposed to be a kiss of death.
Like, if that's going to be the gimmick, cool, I'm down with that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. And it's like a nice way to step up how confident, potentially overconfident Jade is getting because of her winning streak.
But it's fun. Yeah, it was basically Jade going like, "Hey, I'm badass. Fuck you."
And Mark Sterling's just like, "My thummy hurts. They fucked up my thumb." It's like, don't worry, Mark. You've got like 50 packages at home already.
Next up, we then also have legit Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa for an AEW Women's World Champion Eliminator match. Rosa pinned after a Fire Thunder driver. This was a fun match.
This was a pretty solid match. It wasn't like super exciting, but like it did its job, and it did it without being sloppy at all.
Mm-hmm. Also, Layla Hirsch really coming into her heel role.
Because she tries to do her spot that I guess is going to be her spot after the Statlander match, And Red Velvet, who had come out to check on Statlander after that match, comes out and stops her this time. Which is, if you forgot, this whole thing started off with the three of them trying to be a trio, and it just falling apart because Layla and Chris couldn't agree on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is besides the point of wrestling, but like Layla Hirsch put out a statement about a certain thing that's going on in the world today, and
that's a big what's the word I'm looking for? That's a thing that's like really kind of a understandable thing to do, especially because her character is heavily rooted in her Russian ancestry.
uh-huh.
Like they're like it, yeah, cool. Everybody should be supporting Ukraine right now, but also it's just like if your character is Russian, you got to go like, hey, by the way, just to
Yeah,
let you know.
I was born in Russia, but I moved to the United States when I was 8.
Also, I don't like. I am Russian ancestry. I don't associate with anybody in Russia.
I don't support this dickhead. I don't support his regime or his policies. You know, like just generally, even though she's a bad guy, don't be a dick to her because she's Russian.
Yep.
Don't leave bad reviews for restaurants because they're run by Russian immigrants, you fucking idiots.
Nuance is dead.
Isn't it though? Anyway, after this match, Tony Schiavone announced that next week Thunder was going to get another shot at the title, and it would be in her hometown of San Antonio in a solid steel cage.
A
So,
year after the lights out match.
yeah. So, like, the way the Revolution match went now makes total sense, and the outcome of next week is very predictable, but I'm excited to see how we arrive there, and I cannot wait for us to finally arrive there because it's something I've been predicting since before Britt was champion.
Yep. And Britt basically cuts a promo of like, haha, you're not gonna win, cause fuck you.
Yeah. Uh, and then we had the main event, which was Scorpio Sky with Ethan Page and Dan Lambert versus the Spanish God Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. This was very unexpectedly good.
Yes.
Um,
We can also admit this is a lot of kerfuffle.
yeah, like people have pointed out on Reddit, on Twitter, on podcasts, this was very obviously meant for Cody and Brandy once upon a time.
I don't mind. Like, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not seamless, but it works.
Yeah, because basically the story of this match is Scorpio's just a little too strong, a little too quick for Sammy, a little more experienced. So he's able to constantly get the better of him and constantly one up him, and it gets to a point where he is so out of it and busted up that Tay comes out to check on him, basically confirming in kayfabe that they're dating, which is something we've low key had confirmed on the vlogs for a long time now, especially with last week's episode where they announced they had gotten couples tattoos of each other's names below their left breasts, and like this is a whole other basket of worms, but just like fucking, I've never been into the idea of couples tattoos, especially something that specific.
Yeah, no, like, here's the thing. Couple tattoos are fine as long as it's like, hey, let's both get like a theme. Like
Yeah,
space.
like, oh, I'll get your birthstone tattooed on me. I'm not gonna tattoo your fucking name because then if we ever, God forbid, go our separate ways, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm gonna have to shell out a lot of money to get that thing. But anyway,
Or
uh,
change. Like, look at Johnny Depp when he had a Winona tattoo for Winona
oh
Ryder, and he
yeah.
got it changed to Wino.
Well, anyway, Tay comes out to check on him, and Paige Van Sant and one of the other American top team people are in the crowd. She starts jaw jacking at Tay. They get into a whole
I think that's
kerfuffle on the outside.
Paige's husband.
Hmm. Well, they get into a whole kerfuffle, and ultimately Scorpio pins Sammy after a TKO to become your new TNT champion. And Dan and Ethan and Paige are all celebrating in the ring. They beat up Sammy a little more, knock him and Tay the fuck out. Paige pulls out her AEW contract and signs it on Tay's ass. And the show goes out on them celebrating like the biggest, most conniving asshole villains ever. Um, I'm very happy for Scorpio Sky. I think he really deserves the accolade of being, I think, the first Black TNT champion
Yes.
and the first person to win both the AEW Tag Team Championship and the TNT champion. That was the thing they made the big deal out
Do
of.
you think Scorpio will be the first Grand Slam AEW champ?
That's really hard to say, but like it'd definitely be really cool. Um, I really like this ending, even though it was obviously meant to be Cody and Brandy, not Tay and Sammy. They fit the roles pretty well, and everybody who keeps like making jokes about like, oh, Sammy totally dumped Pam, that fatty Pam, for some hot Brazilian ass. Go fuck yourself. That's a really insensitive way to speak about something that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Because this was a good segment. It made perfect sense, and like I said, I'm really happy for Scorpio. He's gonna make a great transitional champion for my boy Wardlow.
But hey, he gets the accolades, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a good couple matches with the belt in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, his match with Wardlow
Is
theoretically is next week.
oh right, true, true, true.
Yeah,
But either way, fun match, fun little outcome. At this point in time, is America Top Team officially a faction within AEW?
oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
So we have American Top Team, the Best Friends of Chaos,
The Jericho Appreciation Society,
the Andrade Family Office.
Regal's Boys,
Uh, until they have a third member, I won't call Regal's Boy like that whole bit of
Regal
faction.
Kids.
I wouldn't call them a faction yet.
Okay. We technically still have the Pinnacle. We technically still have the Elite. Dark Order.
Dark
Dark
Order,
Order is
Dark
definitely still
Order.
there.
Inner Circle's gone.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Death Triangle.
Death Triangle.
The House of Black.
Oh yeah, House of Black.
So like, there's things happening. Those trios championships could still happen theoretically.
I mean, I'd love for it to happen, but like, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen, when?
Probably not anytime soon because apparently Double or Nothing is supposed to feature the finale of the Owen Hart Cup tournament.
Yeah.
And because of that, people are theorizing Bret Hart's going to be FTR's new manager pretty soon.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
That could be real fun.
But no, really, really solid Dynamite. Great follow up from the pay per view that makes me excited to keep watching, which is exactly what you need to do.
Okay, here's a dumb thought. What if they keep changing managers to reference each major era of tag team wrestling?
That is goofy, but I'd be into it in hindsight.
But it's not necessarily like overt text, but it's just more of like they want to learn about all the eras of wrestling, so they get people from those eras to learn from. So Tully Blanchard, Bret Hart, maybe Christian goes bad and he teams up with them to reference the late 90s, early 2000s era of tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
because I don't want Bully Ray fucking coming in.
Oh no, he's too busy right now. He's rumored to be in CYM.
Oh my god. Fucking really?
Rumored. Allegedly. Allegedly. Uh,
How can you do this, Bully? Your brother's black.
Pretty good.
Sorry,
That was a good joke. That was a good joke. Everybody laughed.
Okay, fucking Rorschach.
You realize you gave me that line, and now I can't stop using it.
What, you haven't read Watchmen?
I have, but it was fucking years ago, and I barely remember it at this point. I need to reread it.
I'm no clown. Everybody laughed. God, fucking Rorschach. What a piece of shit.
Yeah. Anyway, let's end this piece of shit podcast once and for all.
It's not once and for all. Eventually it'll come back. Like the fucking genital wart it is.
Should we say a few words?
We had fun making the podcast. Fuck you for not listening to it.
Yeah, because that's ultimately the thing. I hate to be the capitalist businessman fucker of this group, but like I was the first one to go, yo, this show is not doing numbers. It's barely ever done numbers. We need to make room for other stuff.
This show
And
only
like,
did numbers when we did very provocative clickbait titles.
yeah, one of the most popular videos on this channel is still Japanese ladies go at it. And that was the first porn title we did.
Yeah.
But there's also just the fact of like my life has changed a lot in the last couple months, and I need more time for myself and my own work during the week. Doing 4 shows a week on Modular is just a little too much for me. I need to not have this on my plate. I need to be more comfortable taking a break from components every couple weeks. And there's also just the factor of there's other things that we want to do with the channel in the future, not just podcasts, but like right now, you and Buster have been doing a great job of fostering No More Games and getting that show ready. I was talking to Buster a little bit about it. And as I understand it, it's not necessarily going to be like at this exact time slot next week, like the very next week, but we do want No More Games to kind of take the place of MMWP because it seems like it has much more potential to be popular with our subscribers. And for those of you who have listened to this show, be it live or on the replay throughout the course of its history, thank you. I do appreciate that. And I hope you'll stick around for the other stuff we do. And one day, when Boingo and I are much closer to each other, we do want to bring this back. Because
And
it'll be
nothing
much
says we
easier
can't do
to
specials. Like, I can see us doing, like, oh, hey, pay-per-view, let's just fucking bust out an MMWP.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Once in a blue moon. You know?
But
this
until
isn't
then,
goodbye, this is goodbye for now.
Yeah. I mean, like, about the future of this show and about modular media in general, I think the final words I want to say are as sung by a famous commander once upon a time. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fun? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. We're gonna take you for a ride.
And on that note, so hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, we have other podcasts that you can listen to. Other than this one, because this one's ending for right now.
Yeah.
We have components where we talk about random things, and it's probably gonna have a little bit of wrestling talk every once in a while.
Yeah. We're gonna
Um,
we're gonna we're gonna bust in the door and be like, "Yo, guess what this fucker did?"
um, we also have No Price Podcast coming out every Sunday, where we talk movies, comics, merchandise, and more. Uh,
Hmm.
Mostly around Marvel. At this point in time, it's just a general nerd podcast.
Yeah, because the main focus of this week is probably gonna be the Kenobi trailer.
Yeah, but also the other show I watched because fuck, it's good. It only came out this week, so it's relevant. It's recent.
Nice.
We also have No More Games, where me and Buster will talk about games, game news, and that usually comes out every other week. We're trying to aim for that. And then tell them about Twit.
Hey, this week at Tokusatsu is a show that me and Buster Corp do every Tuesday afternoon about all the latest news and releases from the wonderful world of live action Japanese special effects and superheroes, covering stuff like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and potentially maybe in the future, if we ever get another series, Garo. If you want to listen to us ramble on about that and the cool merch we get associated with that, definitely go check out This Week in Tokusatsu or Twit.
And that's all the podcasts we have at this point.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's it. Well, want to tell them about where they can find you?
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I have a channel where I talk about Tokusatsu and toys. I am very much trying to get to my next video. It's just been a rough start to the month, but I have plans. I know what I'm doing next. It's coming. It'll happen.
And you can
Spring
always
break.
hire an editor.
Yeah. And it's almost spring break, so I might be taking a whole bunch of early outs that week because I have to come to work every day, but I don't have to stay there for the full shift during spring break. So might be taking a whole bunch of early outs to try and get some shit done, if you know what I'm saying.
Uh,
Anyway, you can find that at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. You can follow me on Twitter at thevacuuminator. You can follow me at Instagram at @the_vacuuminator.
well, hey, howdy, howdy. I am Boingo Rider. You can find me in a variety of places on the internet. You want to watch some Twitch streams? Twitch.tv/Boingo Rider. You want to follow me on the Twitter at Boingo_Rider. At TikTok and on Instagram at Boingo_Rider. Whoa, would you look at that? Synergy. Um, you want to see some video essays and editorials? Go onto YouTube, search for Boingo Writer. You should be able to find me. And if you want to just type in the search bar, type it in the address bar, youtube.com/c/Boingo Writer. Remember, you got to put that C in there because the C represents channel.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, this was MMWP Live.
we did it. We did the wrestling, everybody. We did all of it. It's over. There will be no more wrestling without us. Fuck off.
No more. Don't believe any of those British people.
Um, Thanks, everybody. We'll see you around.
So long. Thank you for the fish.